I've bought a collection of old Airfix and Dapol Kitmaster mineral wagons. I've got a few more a couple more on the way. I'm going to attempt to start weathering some stuff. So I thought I would start with a rake of 6 or so mineral wagons. I've got some iron ore coming from Hatton's. It was in their clearance sale. Quite sad to see them going. And I'm going to make these kits up sort of as a batch and see how it goes. I'm going to modify the wheels on the 2 older Airfix ones, and I think I've got 2 more of them coming, just to bulk this up a bit. But I'm going to use the slightly strange Airfix couplings on most of them, and then put a modern coupling on one end of one and one end of probably on 2 of them, so that I can hitch a brake van up at the back and a loco at the front with a proper coupling. But I thought I'd try out these old Airfix couplings and see if they work. Surprisingly, they call them Pico couplings, I noticed in the original box. And amazingly, the rubber bands that centralise them are still okay in that boxed one that's there, so it'd be interesting to see how that goes. But anyway, I shall carry on and occasionally dip in with the camera to see how we're getting on. Right, that's the first, I suppose you'd call it, chassis finished. All of that has got to be painted black now, and that's got the Airfix couplings on it. And I will be fitting the set of wheels that are on top of it, which are metal ones. These are the plastic ones that came with it. Now I notice on the Dapol ones they now come with metal wheels, and they also come with tension lock couplings as an option. So as I said, I'll fit one to one end with one of these type couplings to the other end, and from there we'll see how it goes. So I'll make another one, or another 1 or 2, and we'll see how we get on. Right, well, that's 3 of them. I'm going to paint the first one because I've had enough of making them. So one of them's got the tension lock coupling on one end, and I think they call that a Pico Buckeye on the other. That one's got the Pico one on both ends, and that one had one missing. But I've got a spare one in another packet, so I'll get round to doing that when I get to the other packet and make number 4. But now for a bit of black paint, I think. Well, that's 5 of the mineral wagon chassis done, and I'm also doing, I think I said before, a low mac, but I've cut the end out and the buffer beam is a good bit lower than it would be normally. In fact, it's just about as low as it can go without scraping along, and that's so I can fit a camera there, like so. I've been using a Hornby low mac with the camera on. It works fine, but the light just went out. The problem with that was that well, I don't know what happened there. The problem with that was that the camera picked up the buffer beam, so there was a buffer beam and 2 buffers across the bottom of every picture. So I'm hoping this will be a bit better. We'll see, but won't be any worse. It's fairly stable. That's the bulb gone out again, the light obviously needs to go on to charge. It's fairly stable, but they're very light, these things, but the camera's quite heavy, so hopefully with the camera on top it will be fine. I'm putting a small piece of lead, which I shall show you, once I've flattened them, into each of the other wagons, like that, and then I've cut down the load, so that'll go in, and then I'll top it off with iron ore that still hasn't arrived. But there's no hurry for it. I'm also doing a couple of other little things, and it's so cold this week that I don't want to be up in the shed. So we shall see how this all goes. Obviously on the older ones I'm replacing the Airfix wheels, these ones, with, I think these are Hornby, the same diameter, and I shall just pop them in and see how it goes. But that, I mean, I've tried this before and they work pretty well, even in the holes that are provided by Airfix or Dapol. Another thing I have noticed is the Airfix ones, although much older, none of them are warped, and there's less flashing. And I assume that's due to the tooling was much younger when they were made, it being much older now. Anyway, onwards and upwards. There we go. Right, that's the first one stuck together. I missed a bit there on the coupling, paint wise. But I should go around them again anyway. I'm going to keep them in the colour of the plastic, and what I shall do is put the transfers on as it is now, and then I'll give the whole thing, before I fit the wheels, a spray of matte paint, and hopefully by then the load will have arrived. What I've done, I've lowered the legs slightly, so there's a piece of lead in the bottom, then that's stuck in as well, slightly lower, and then I shall paint that a suitable colour for the iron ore and stick it in and then start weathering it. We shall see what happens, but that's the plan. So far so good. Right, I'm starting the transfers now. I don't know if it picks it up very well. I've done a couple on that side. Unfortunately, the old Airfix ones, some of them aren't working very well. They split as soon as you get them wet. So I'll see how I go. These two have both got the elastic bands on the what they call the Pico couplings. They work fine. I'm not sure how I'm going to work it on the ones with only, like this one. It's got a coupling of that sort on that end, but it's got a tension lock on that end. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet, but we shall see. Got a couple more. One's actually got wheels on it. That one, ready for its ready for transfers, and then the load when that arrives. But it hasn't yet, so we shall see. More later. Right, I'm putting the load into this one. It's the tried and tested method. A bit of the iron ore that comes in a Hatton's kit. It comes a bag of this ore. Words didn't come out very well. With 2 syringes, and then it's a mix of PVA and water, about 50-50, with a bit of washing up liquid thrown in for good measure. Takes a while to dry, so I've already done a few, and then just for the first time completely missed the wagon, and shoot it all over the place. I'll mop that up in a minute off camera, and just basically soak it. I find a bit of it comes through, because it does. No, because the wagons aren't watertight by no stretch of the imagination. That's better. Got a bit more in it this time, and I can see that soaking through already. That's it. And then we'll put that somewhere to dry. I've got a baking tray set in the other part of the room with a bit of silver foil on top so it doesn't ruin it. So I'm going to do these 3. That one is a Dapol wagon, and it's got a slightly high load in it. And then I'm going to do these 5, which are a mixture of Airfix, Dapol, kits and ready-mades, and I shall fill them with coal. Right, that's those filled with coal and iron ore. The Hatton's kit, now in these you've probably noticed I've put the plastic infill bits that came with them. In fact, some of them are already fixed in the Dapol ones. The Hatton's kit does come with 3 sheets of thickish cardboard for you to make a false bottom for the wagon, which I haven't used, but good idea. Comes with 2 syringes, I think, as I said, and whatever you've ordered. Unfortunately, of course, these will soon become available, but I know they've got some at the moment of limestone, iron, and I think the other one was coal. So be quick, because they're half price. As I've already said, I was going to weather them, so I've done that now. As you've probably seen in a couple of pictures. What I've done, started with a wash of red oxide Humbrol, I can't remember the number, on the iron oxide ones, which is these 2. And on the coal one I started with a wash of black, matte black. What I did, I watered it down, painted it over, and then wiped it off with a cotton bud. Then I've put some brake dust on the actual boxes and brakes, and then probably brushed most of that off when I was putting a sort of muddy dust powder around the bottom frame and buffers, and then a bit of dark red weathering powder around the bottom of the trucks to indicate rust, and a general smattering of a lighter coloured all over, blown off any loose, and then a quick spray with a matte varnish, and that's it really. And as you'll see shortly, they run pretty well too.